When Monty stepped into the Stone Roses lineup, the wider rock scene wasn't exactly enjoying its strongest moment commercially. Guitar-driven music was drifting off the charts, and no one could predict whether this Manchester outfit would carve out a place in history or fade away like so many promising indie groups before them. They emerged just ahead of the Britpop wave, but Monty already sensed that what they were creating carried a timeless spark. Listening to the Stone Roses often feels as if you're tuning into a signal from another universe. Plenty of artists had flirted with similar textures and grooves, but once Ian Brown swaggered his way through tracks like Fool's Gold and I Wanna Be Adored, and John Squire unleashed those hypnotic guitar lines, young listeners suddenly heard what felt like the future of British guitar music taking shape. At the core of that groundbreaking sound was Monty's bass playing. He wasn't trying to outshine Squire with flashy licks. His role was deeper, broader, heavier. His bass lines carried an understated power that became the backbone of the band's identity. On She Bangs the Drums, it's Monty's opening groove that pulls you in before the rest of the band explodes into motion. Years later, Monty still spoke with immense pride about what they created, insisting that the album would remain beautiful and untouched by time, claiming they had tapped into something only music could reveal. And he wasn't wrong. Even as the group operated mostly within the UK underground at the time, their influence surged dramatically afterward, shaping an entire generation and indirectly paving the way for the Britpop movement. His impact extended beyond the Roses, too. Whether with the Roses or Primal Scream, Monty's presence echoed through the DNA of Oasis. The Gallaghers idolized the Stone Roses, and Monty frequently dropped by during the Definitely Maybe sessions, moments that only reinforced just how groundbreaking his earlier work had been. Even as the band weathered the difficult periods surrounding Second Coming, Monty remained fiercely protective of their debut's legacy. He often remarked that no one could diminish what they had achieved, boldly stating that they were far ahead of their time, and challenging newer supergroups to measure themselves against the standard they had set. It may have sounded like classic Mancunian bravado, but in many ways, it rang entirely true. Even at the height of Britpop, no one could quite replicate the spirit captured on the Stone Roses. The performances weren't pristine. There are rough edges, imperfect vocals, and loose moments, but that was part of the magic. It was the way the four of them locked in together that made each track soar, from Monty anchoring Waterfall to the euphoric, soaring climax of I Am the Resurrection. Rock music was never meant to be flawless. Whether you witnessed them live at Spike Island or only discovered them years later through the bands they inspired, Monty's contribution with the Stone Roses continues to echo purely on the strength of the songs themselves. Plenty of groups could craft glossy illusions, but what this band delivered was unfiltered, genuine, and far beyond anything the Britpop era could imitate.